Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Might be a little bit hot. Welcome to.
Hello, everyone.
Nice. I didn't think to erase the previous messages there and there. Hello and welcome to the Patreon Hangout. It is May 31st, mere hours before June is upon us. And we're ready for mostly ready. I think we're ready for our first community night after we're done here too.
Hooray.
Shout out to anybody watching this in the VODs. You can head to patreon.com/dpadfm, as you can see right there, to find out how to jump in on these and the community hangout that we're going to do afterwards. Tonight we're actually doing a double feature. We're going to be group watching 2002's The Gamers, made by Dead Gentleman Productions. It is a fantastically funny little indie film thing. And 2006/7's DOA, Dead or Alive, maybe the most self-aware video game movie that has ever been made. So hell yeah. And we got Peter in there as well. Peter is probably going to be joining us through Discord for the actual movie zone portion of things. And Jeff is here as well. I'll move the camera a little bit. There we go.
That's me.
My favorite thing about, like, nothing is like arranged in an especially weird way, but because of how the camera works with the swivel, if you turn more than like 20 degrees, we have this like Battlefield Earth,
It does
like
tilt.
camera thing going on.
We get a big old tilt.
It's literally just like a claw thing at the top of the monitor, and it just swivels left and right. It's not swiveling up and down, but just like the combination just makes it do like this thing where we're looking down at
Dramatically
the side of the screen where stuff isn't happening. I guess I feel like I probably should have put the chat on the other side, to make it look like we're looking at the chat. I guess I'm looking at the chat in the video right now.
Or wait, is it?
No, I'm not. I'm still looking away.
You're staring at me.
I would have to
over
look
here.
this way
Yes.
to be looking at the chat, and that's not going to fly so much.
No.
But yeah. Hope everybody's been having a good month so far. A lot of stuff going on the channel. June is going to be big. I think June is going to be a big one for us. We got a lot of stuff happening, and a lot of stuff returning at long last. It's going to be so fucking sick. We've got a few surprises as we get into the community hangout portion of things, and folks who are not joining us live for that will be seeing what is going on with that as well. But I'm going to hold off on those little bits just for now. I want to play a very small piano, like a little tinker toy in midair.
I thought that was putting tiny ducks in a row, but
Nope. You can put the ducks on the piano.
oh, trust me, nobody. I
Not tonight. Not tonight.
Yeah.
If we were getting done earlier, there was maybe the possibility, but we're not gonna be done with this till midnight, so that's not happening.
I have been sequestered, and he's got blackmail on me. So yes, I will be doing that.
I've actually, every time Jeff comes over for the first like 5 hours he's here, I actually have someone with a walkie-talkie who moves a big pinball table in front of all the doors. And then after about 5 hours, I tell them that all right, you can move it, and then he's never seen them, so he doesn't know what the popular IPs are for them.
I can feel them though.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I feel their proximity.
Yeah. We also have an Addams Family one in the other room, just in case, to kind of like get the sensors going.
In case
you know,
I need to be punished.
yeah. All right, to the pinball room.
No.
Oh God. Yeah. No. It's gonna be. My arms feel so tight because I've started playing basketball as my little like workout thing, and I am not very good at it. So my goal of get 10 baskets tends to take 30-40 minutes.
Quite a few shots. Yeah.
Yep. So the muscles that are like right on in here are like very tight.
Unhappy.
They're not doing so good. I'm not the worst, but I'm not very good. The Polaroider have pinball on each door. That's true. That would probably be cheaper by like a few orders of magnitude.
Yeah, you wouldn't need the movers.
Yeah, that's starting to add up a little bit. So that's not good. That's not going to go so well if that continues long. I almost swallowed a bug as we were getting stuff set up. I didn't swallow it because it landed on my tongue and proceeded to like just die in my fucking mouth. It was gross.
Rick was mid-sentence and then suddenly like full-on spit onto a plate, and I was like, what is happening?
Yep.
Oh.
I thought that I'd accidentally
Gross.
swallowed it, and that might have been less gross to me than the fact that it was just in my mouth.
Yeah, I don't care about eating bugs. I don't want to do it, but if it happens, I'm like,
It's in the throat, and you're like,
goodbye.
But when it's there, and you're like, spit. Okay, cool. And you're like, oh no, it's still there. Oh, this is much grosser. It's really not great, but oh god, I fell off of Homestar Runner at some point. I don't remember when, but I did. To the point where I won the Volume 4 DVD. I think I still have it somewhere over there. I won it in a contest of doing some kind of song thing that was there. I forget what the circumstances of this were, but there were like 3 of us, and the other 2 were absolutely terrible, and I straight up had never heard the song before, and I was like, I think I could probably manage this.
I did pretty well.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But yeah. Let's dive into channel stuff. We'll do this early because at 9:15 we're gonna be cutting off, regardless of what we're talking about. 9:15 is the cutoff.
High water. Because
we want to be getting started at 9:30 for the stuff. So our runtime for tonight's community night is approximately, I believe, 2 hours 33 minutes. So we should be ending pretty much right at midnight. I think we'll be in the middle of credits at midnight. So. It has all been condensed into a single video file, so we're not gonna have to like muck around with a bunch of that stuff. So that'll be nice and good. And yeah, I think it'll be pretty solid. I think everyone's gonna have a good time with it. As for channel stuff, what to get into? Let's see. Pokemon. We're continuing on with Brilliant Diamond Shining. Well, not Shining Pearl, just Brilliant Diamond post game. Boy, Mysterious Shards are like the worst fucking thing.
They'll have seen that by now.
Oh,
I think we got our first one in the video that went up today.
Yeah, I think we've got 2 now, and the one that came up. I think we got our second one.
Oh, was it our second?
Our second small mysterious shard.
Yeah, just.
It gets worse.
Awful.
And in everything that we've ever done Pokemon wise, that might actually be the most annoyingly tedious task. And there have been a lot of tedious Pokemon tasks. Like Legends Arceus, you have to fill your Pokedex in order to. Oh, sorry, you have to fill your Pokedex. You have to have caught every Pokemon, and even that was slightly less annoying than this.
See, there is less tedium in a task that requires a lot of things to happen, like catch all the Pokemon. At least in that place, you're like, oh,
you do it for a bit, you mix it up, you go somewhere else.
So let's go over here behind the power plant, and I gotta get this. So like go over here, but this. Fucking shards. Just go to wall, smash wall, no shard, cry, move on.
We are only going to get the Ramanas Park catches that are required of us. We are not going to fuck around enough to get anything else because this is taking fucking forever. And it like the post game is already ambiguous enough and amorphous enough that I'm trying to like keep it from just becoming a do whatever every episode thing. So there's going to be a time skip coming up. I think we've got 2 more episodes. Oh, no, we've got 4 more episodes, I think. And then there's going to be a grind skip of sorts.
Yeah.
Which I haven't actually done yet. I did an hour since then. So that's probably going to be something that I wind up doing some more of in the next...
0
what do you consider required?
Shards.
So required would be any catches that we have to get in order to catch something else. So Regigigas... is the only way to actually get into there is if you have caught Regice, Regirock, Registeel. To my knowledge, none of the other catches have that same requirement. I don't know if anything else does that. I don't think Cresselia does. I don't think Heatran does. I think Heatran's just on Stark Mountain. I don't know that anybody else has Ramanas Park catch requirements aside from Regigigas.
Yeah, see, dude, we figured just getting shards to get these Pokemon is like, if it's a Nuzlocke, grinding in a Nuzlocke, something bad could happen. There's technically something there to show.
Yeah.
But for this, it's literally just...
We're getting nothing out of our time.
Threat, run around, smash walls.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Yep. Yeah. It's not great. Most of the Ramanas Park catches require other Ramanas Park catches. Yeah, not interested. If this was us trying to fill the Pokédex, God help us, then that would be a different story. But no, literally, if it wasn't for the fact that Regigigas is its own like distinct thing in Brilliant Diamond, then we would already be done with the Grand Underground. Like we would already have walked away after the stuff that we've done so far. So it's only because of that. and then we're gonna be moving on. It's like it's neat. I get why it's there, and for casual play, if they were like twice as common to find, I think it'd be a different story. But like, it's just kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's like it's not enthralling to you guys. If the game had come out 2 weeks ago and we were doing something for the first time and like it's really exciting and stuff, but like I don't think that that's, something that's exciting to watch.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. It's a very rare thing that we actively cut something for time, and this is one of those things. There's probably going to be one more grind session that gets cut from it, and that's essentially when the only thing left to do is fight the Elite Four a third time. There will definitely be a cut so that I can just grind, on my own time.
15 levels for everything.
Yeah. Pokemon Insurgents. I have good news about Pokemon Insurgents, and that is that I have figured out some ways to live edit the game as we play it. I don't know if I talked about this during the last Hangout or if I'd actually found this out by then, but essentially there is a program whose name I have forgotten that lets you open an executable file and not PK Hex. It is actually not compatible with PK Hex. I think because Insurgents is an RPG Maker based game. So it is not compatible at all. But what it does is essentially it watches all of the pointers that it can, and at any given moment you can search for a value, and it'll find you any point in the entire file that has that value.
The tracer or debugger.
Yeah. And it hangs on to a current batch, and then you can search again. So it's either like, oh, I've walked a little bit. So, for example, one of the things that I figured out how to do fairly early was at the very beginning of the game, I gave myself 100 potions because you get 2 potions, and I did a search for the value that associated with 2, and then I used a potion, and then I searched again on the same menu for 1, and it narrowed it down to such a small number of things that I just walked through and went, ding, there we go. So 100 potions.
Yep, I did much the same thing with trying to track internal values of the game, like using Medenison.
Yep.
Got one built in.
I did the same thing with it was pretty easy to fuck with my Pokemon's experience, which then automatically changes their level. So that's pretty easy to work with. The biggest problem is that anytime you close and open the game, the pointer locations change because it's kind of building it live and all those pointers move around. So essentially, I need to get myself as set up as I can right at the start, like very quickly, like, okay, let's get my starter to level 100 and then do all the stuff I need to do and then save. Then I'm not worrying about it because I've got 100 of whatever. Same thing with like potions and ice heals and all that shit. And then I need to essentially try and mimic my path through the game as closely as I can. Excuse me. Some of these are going to be less important than others. The stuff that I most care about, because the game does have internal Nuzlocke rules. I don't know how strict they are about some things, but at the very least, they only let you catch 1 Pokemon per route, the standard.
Mm-hmm.
And if you try it on anything after, it automatically fails and all those things. So if nothing else, I don't think it does family clauses, that kind of stuff. So at the very least, I need to double check all of my living Pokemon and catch them in the correct locations. If I have the time, I can try to do that with other Pokemon that aren't alive, but it honestly doesn't really matter that much, and you can
self-enforce it.
Exactly. And if I get through the whole game and I can technically give myself an egg in another game, I will PK Hex together a rough approximation of something that was in that game, and I think that'll be just how that works. But yeah, so that's where Insurgents is at. I don't want to give any kind of timetable for that just yet because it's very touch and go. If I edit the wrong values, it crashes the game, and then I have to reload from a previous save. So, I'm doing it as best I can. It's going to take some time. But I think we will be able to continue with more or less. It probably won't be exactly the same, but it'll be very close to the same setup as we had before. I still want to go through some old hard drives just in case, but I think it's probably a lost cause on that front. So, I think that's going to be where we're at with that. So hopefully with all that, said, my goal is before the end of the summer to be able to get Insurgents on its feet again, because I would like to get that done in time to finish so that John and I can get some Heart Gold Soul Silver going. We might start recording some of that this summer just to get a nice juicy backlog. That's a phrase I don't like. having said with my mouth.
Kind of like it.
Depends, right? There are some logs that are good when they're juicy. I feel like there are dessert cakes that work as Yule log. I think was it Friendly's has their big roll up style things. Those are, I would say, they're at least moist. They got cake elements to them.
Sure.
So those can be that way too. So they just only made it so you couldn't revive Pokemon. Okay. Interesting. If that's the case, then I've got even less to worry about. But I guess I can test this. This wouldn't be too hard for testing purposes. Oh, a juicy backlog. That's when you've had like a lot of Indian food, Mexican food back to back. That's when you're just sweating just profusely just by existing at that point. And then what follows from there. I don't think there's any other Pokemon news for the time being. Nope. Sonic. Hope you guys enjoyed the Sonic Rumble beta. It was okay. It was neat. As mobile games go, if I could not spend a cent on that game, I could see that as being an enjoyable thing to do once or twice. Like, oh, I'm gonna go to bed, but first I'm gonna do like 2-3 rounds of this.
Yeah,
that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm biased. I said it in the video, I think, but I'm just very biased against mobile games in general. Hate screen controls. Like, I'll play a Super Nintendo RPG on a phone screen with the on-screen controls and be
that
like
okay
with it.
It's like it's not great, but it's like fine. It's the tactile response. Honestly, if the second a phone is able to give like haptic feedback along the screen and be able to have little responsive like nudges and things where your thumbs are, that'll change the game in my opinion for mobile gaming.
Too bad. Yeah, I mean, at least just controller.
Yeah,
controller.
That
like,
too.
An attachment. They make things that you can like.
I can sync the white
Bluetooth
Xbox controller that was on the table is currently technically synced to my iPhone. We could also technically do that, but at that point again, like you were saying, like why not just make it a console thing?
Put it on Switch. Put it on Steam Deck.
Yep, no reason not to.
Put it on Nintendo 3DS.
Rip, big rip. We are planning. I think we can finally say with pretty good certainty. I think Sonic Superstars is going to begin on Monday. At long last, we actually are like 98% of the way through the multiplayer portion of the game. We got very, very close. I don't want to spoil too much of the experience, but I will say this game is buggy as fuck.
Man,
holy shit!
Not even like minor like glitches or like a sound plays too many times in a row or something.
The game crashed on us twice in our last session, including literally like right at the end of the game. We were in the last act of the game. It was like midnight, and the game crashed, and we were all just like, we're done.
For those of you who love Schadenfreude, there's a delicious moment where something cool is happening, and then the game crashes, and we all go, no!
Yeah.
In unison.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty funny. I was sad
it was very
at the time,
funny,
but it's pretty funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems with it. And that's not even getting into just the experience of playing the game as intended, which is also a mess. I hope we don't make people throw up too much. Because let me tell you, sitting here with the controller in hand, being able to focus on my character, I definitely felt like I was getting fucking rocked.
Yeah.
The entire time. Oh yeah, no, that's the best and worst part at the same time of Let's Play YouTubing content is when something bad happens and you're frustrated, but there's that little voice in the back of your head that's just like, that's gonna be a good video.
Yes,
that just made the whole video worth it.
Every time I'm playing a shitty Sonic game and something wrong happens, I'm like, oh good.
Yep. So that's where that's at right now. We've also started recording some Sonic Riders 2. Which is gonna be a rough time. The funniest thing, I don't want to lean in too much on commentary that we already made, except minor, behind the curtain spoiler. A rare case of screaming no and inside screaming no at the same time.
Yes.
Peter and I recorded, I think, 3 episodes of Sonic Riders 2, and then looked and discovered that we did not have any commentary audio. So we're probably just gonna restart the game. At this point, we'll probably have Jeff pilot for at least that first chunk of the game, since both Peter and I now know what's coming. And then after that, we will probably toss the controller around.
My favorite.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, actually, I kind of.
It's
I have fallen in love either through Stockholm Syndrome or just, I don't know, experience with shitty Sonic games.
It's honestly, I think it's I don't know how to describe it. 'Cause it's not really Schadenfreude because we're experiencing it, so it doesn't really count that way. But like, I have realized about myself over the last like 5 years that I love trash. Something about just garbage content, I just eat up like a fucking raccoon. Something about it is just like intoxicating to look at a thing and be like, this is bad.
Yeah, it's hard to make.
It's so bad.
It's hard to make a good game. It's easy
It
to
is.
make a bad game, but it's hard to make a trash game.
It's hard to make a game that makes you question the game itself.
Yes.
Like Sonic Rivals 1 and 2. I would argue more 1. 2, my main gripe with it is that it's 8 runs through the game, which is nonsense. Otherwise, it is pretty unambiguously a better game than Rivals 1 in the terms of like it's Rivals 1, but they cleaned up a little bit here and there.
Sure.
But Rivals in general is like these are both such shit.
Yes.
They could make a Sonic Rivals 3 right now on the Switch, and it'd probably be fine. They could probably make it work in a way that actually is relatively fun and like not be the worst. But something about the way they did it on the PSP for both of those was like, this is like, it feels like a trashy Flash game.
Yeah.
Constantly.
I still think that whole like Rivals as a game series is just not good. It's like not the fun platforming of Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's not the racing of a racing game. It's some weird chimera between the two where the chimera got very sick.
If honestly they could release if I found out today that Sonic Superstars had a DLC that added Sonic Rivals as a minigame mode, where like, oh, you and 3 of your friends can like race through a couple of the levels and they're done up as Rivals stages,
sure,
I'd be like okay with that.
Yeah.
I think that's like a format that kind of works for it. We're like, oh, bite-sized chunks of this experience, as opposed to, all right, you're gonna play like 7 hours of this 8 times. Hope you're ready. And it's like, no, I'm really not.
I mean, that's just indicative of what Sonic Team and Sega did for like a solid decade and a half, where they like just didn't give any games proper shrift or development time and decided to pad them out by just saying do it again. There's so many Sonic games in that era where like the actual main game loop is less than 45 minutes. You get through this one character story, and then aside from approximately 2 minutes of occasionally voiced over like cutscenes, it's the same fucking thing.
Yep.
And that happens over and over and over and over again in these Sonic games.
We had that problem with the Advance and Rush games, where Rush wasn't too bad because you only had to do it twice. And actually, only Rush 1. Rush Adventure cleaned that up a lot, which was nice. Sonic Rush, you had to play essentially the entire game twice. Sonic Advance 1, 2, and 3, you had to play the game 3 to 5 times, depending on stuff. Sonic Heroes, you have to play essentially the same game 4 times. Shadow, you have to play the game 10 fucking times.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many of these games, and then Sonic Rivals, you got to do it 4 times. Sonic Rivals 2, you got to do it 8 times. Sonic Battle felt like the most repetitive fucking thing ever. Literally, oh, you did this long, arduous battle. Do it again, but with more lives sometimes.
Now they're harder and 6 lives.
Yeah, sometimes it's literally just do the battle again, and it's like, this was so poorly planned.
It's so funny that like Sonic Team and the Sonic franchise as a whole for so long were like, why don't people love Sonic the Hedgehog like they used to? Well, you're putting out trash.
Yep. Yeah, Westopolis is the only one you have to do 10 times. Any other stage, though, you have to do at least like 2 times for some. Like, I guess there are some you don't have to do. Technically, you don't have to do some stages at all. I think
it gets
you
so
can get
tired.
Yes,
they realized at some point during development that instead of making a 20-hour game with one contiguous story and maybe a couple of choices here or there, like a branching long singular chain, they realized that they could just multiply the content amount by having you do marginally different things in levels, and it's never fun.
Like, I like the idea. The cons, I understand how they
Sure.
got from the premise standpoint to the pitch, where it's like Shadow's a very ambiguous character in terms of his morality and his allegiance,
Yeah.
and all of that. So what about a game where that's the whole premise? And this came out in the era of like Fable and stuff too, where it's like, okay, let's give him like a tiny little morality system. Like he goes through a level and he's got to decide, is he going to be a good guy, is he going to be a bad guy, or is he going his own way? And it's like, okay, that's fine.
You don't play the opening town in Fable 10 times, though.
No, not unless you keep forgetting where you are in the game and
Yes.
starting over
Yeah, you just
to
hit the
see if you
reset
can get away
button.
with beating up your sister and not being turned evil, or God, what was it? There's
You're supposed to gather like presents for somebody.
Yeah.
I think you get like honey or something. I forget.
there is a way, I forget what it is. I don't think it's beating up your sister, but there is something that you can do, because most things you do that would be negative morality in the game, the town guard like gets pissed at you, but there's like one thing you can do that the game doesn't stop you from doing, and if you just do it a bunch of times, when you're a kid the morality effects don't happen,
Right.
but if you do a bunch of those things, good or evil, and then trigger the cutscene that then time skips you to being an adult, you literally like you go through the cutscene and you're standing in the courtyard or whatever, and just horns explode out of your head.
You're already a mean bastard.
And you're like, oh, okay, I guess that's how that's working, yeah. But yeah, also Shadow the Hedgehog, it recently was revealed by Jason Griffith, who I think was the voice actor for Sonic, not Shadow. But Shadow was originally going to be a rated M, including having F-bombs.
Would've been
He said
so
specifically that Shadow was going to drop the say fuck, which is great for anybody making those tier lists. 'Cause now we can
Shadow
say
say fuck.
right. Let Shadow
2024.
fuck. Why not? Let him get down with his bad self. Oh, he was Sonic and Shadow. Okay. I couldn't remember if he was both or not. Yeah. But yeah, so one thing that I'm very excited for with Sonic Riders in particular is that each game gets progressively harder to play, because we started with the GameCube version, which is just a controller game, and then we've got the current one, Zero Gravity, which we're going with the default control scheme, which is the Wiimote, I believe, held sideways. So we're basically playing a full ass racing game like an NES controller with gyro. And then we've got Sonic Riders, Sonic Free Riders, I think is the name of that one. And that one's controlled with the Xbox Kinect. So we're going to have to do full body motion for the third one. These games are going to get fucking terrible. It's going to be so bad. The one saving grace for Sonic Riders is that the games are short.
Yes.
Both of them, it's like you play through the game twice, which also not bad. You only have to do it twice.
2 is okay.
And each one has like 7 or 8 races, which all things considered,
Yep.
not that bad.
I'd rather do less, more difficult races that we lose at
Yeah.
instead of like something where something bullshit happens, or like again with the lack of effort they put in on Rivals, it's just rubber banding.
It's so bad
You
in
could
that
be on
one.
a world record pace
Yep.
for like a run through of that game,
Yeah.
and the AI would still be right behind you because rubber banding.
There is rubber banding in Sonic Riders, but if memory serves, it is
Racing game.
not that severe in
Yeah.
Riders. Rivals is like a joke.
Yeah.
They like exponentially get faster if
You
they
just
have
see him on the
to.
bottom thing go suddenly like.
And he was like, whoa, wait, whoa. But yeah, so that's where Sonic's at. We should be getting the first one up on Monday. I still have to film the intro. It's a long one. The intro is going to be like a good 10-minute thing. And that's me trying to cut it down. There's just a lot to talk about. But it should be interesting. And I'm very excited to see what you guys think of that game if you have not experienced it for yourself or watched somebody else play it.
It'll be a fun watch, that's for sure.
Yes, as an audience member, you guys should have a blast with this.
Rick will have done the effort to turn down all the yelling to a manageable headphone level.
It's hard
and
to... I was saying the same thing about Hades. It's like... It's already a long video, and it's so much harder to edit when we're getting really excited, and then we kind of, and then we're yelling,
all
like...
chilling, yeah.
Which is great. It like I prefer to have a really like amped up video. It just slows down the Hades video. So we only got one this week, and we haven't recorded any more yet. We're gonna record some more probably this coming week. They're long as fuck right now. They're like an hour and a half plus, and they probably take me 5 or 6 hours to edit. They take so long to get through, and they're essentially a full week's worth of content per run. So like I'm having a blast playing. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm loving it. But just so people know, if there's ever a reason videos are a little slow to come out, it's because they are dense as fuck on the editing
I would
side.
say, and I have a feeling that our patrons in chat would agree, that for Hades in particular, that single run format is how you should do those videos. Don't break them up. Unless a run lasts 4 hours because you beat the game, and then maybe split it into 2. But like having the whole run as a thing, that's the best way to consume those, in my opinion.
When the first ones were getting put together, Sarah and I were talking about it a little bit to try to figure it out, and like she was saying like, are you gonna do this like regular videos, or maybe you do like one per level, which was one that I was kind of like iffy on. Like maybe that works because
per world.
Yeah, we get through each world in like 20-ish minutes at a time, which is like, that might not be too bad. But then I thought about it, and it's like, if I'm not churning these out, and I make sure that a whole run gets done in a single week, then we've got individual runs that stretch out over weekends, and like that might just be too much. So I was just like, I know it's going to be like a pain in the ass to edit, but like maybe I think we just stick with full runs, because it also means that people that are viewing get to see it start to finish, and they have no expectations about how long it's going to be.
Well, and again, it is a somewhat rare thing for this channel. It's a roguelike game. Like, you don't play a lot of those.
I don't know how long it's going to be when I start one even.
So, but like every run is exceptionally different. You have a run where, okay, you got tons of health, but your boons are kind of shitty and you're underpowered, but you're still struggling through, and it's fine. And you had the run where you had like these 3-4 things line up beautifully for your abilities. The
special one was
damage.
Nuts. Yeah, that one was one. I think runs 4 and 6 were my two best ones.
If you had
which is surprising, because 6 was shaping up really rough at the start of it. That was the one that was like, it takes 60% of all my health forever.
That's the roguelike magic, where you like sometimes the runs where you actually win or like faster than light for me. Like I start, and I used to just kind of restart after every first star if it wasn't good. Now I'm just like, let's see where this goes.
Yeah, because you never know, right? Like there's ways to like turn a bad build into something much more manageable.
You get your dick ripped off, and then you walk into the next room, and there's a free chain gun, and you're like, oh, okay, this is now a run.
I'm trying to remember what my 5th run was, because it didn't turn out as good as number 4. It was one that I was definitely playing pretty messy. I know that I was also getting way more hurt for every boss. Oh, because part of the problem was, once you meet Hades for the first time, a bunch of the monsters seem to like level up a bit.
No, I didn't know that.
Like, or at least it seems that way. It certainly looked like I was getting new enemies that I was not seeing before, and it was starting to kick my ass on a couple spots. But yeah, so far I've at least not lost progress in terms of chambers. Every time I've at least made to the same chamber, if not further.
Sure.
So I don't know. I'm hoping the next one will be good. For run 7, I'm coming in with, instead of 50 hit points, I'm coming in with 138. So that should help kind of
starters?
A lot. Yeah.
Nice.
Because I've got I bought some upgrades that give me more starting health in general, and I'm wearing the spiked collar, which when it's fully leveled up is actually going to give me 50 more health, so I'll be at 150 essentially.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it'll be a good spot, especially if I can churn out some defense buffs like I was doing in the last one, because then if I can start tanking stuff, that'll really, really give me a leg up.
Getting hit and not being like, well, there's a third of my health.
Yeah, yep. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I don't know when the next one is going to go up, because it literally, John just like comes by on a random day in the middle of the week. And we recorded the first 3 in one session, 4 and 5 in another session, and 6 was in its own session, because they're getting so long that it's just hard to do more than one at a time.
Absolutely.
Because he's usually got places to be by like 6. So like at best we can do like 2, or if I have a rough run, then maybe 3.
So that's Sonic and Hades.
Yes. Let's see. Kirby is going to be coming back. We've got Nightmare in the Dreamy Let's Play.
Yeah.
Is coming back next week. With Smash Brawl. My least favorite Smash Brothers
Two people
game.
in the audience go wild.
Yeah, right. Tripping fans go apeshit.
Hey, I like Brawl.
I don't hate it, but I definitely like it the least out of all of them.
Brawl is I may have said this before, but Brawl is the game that I played the most with the most people, because it was like early college, mid-college for us.
It would have been like 2008-ish, right around there, so like right in the center, I think, of everything, more or less.
Yeah. 2008, 2009. I mean, it was a while until there was a sequel, but like, Yeah, Brawl was the one that I played with the most people. Like Melee
Brawl lasted like
played
6
with
years,
like
I think.
a
Yeah.
small group of people that I played with so many times. Like, and I'm just talking of like I never did any of the. I mean, I did a couple of like the single player things and the challenges and whatever. But I'm just talking for like people are over, everybody's hanging out, doing things. Like, who wants to play some Brawl? Oh yeah, hell yeah! There's 6 people who want to get in. So
All right. I think completing it is going to be a mix of surprisingly easy along with the hard. The list of challenges, Brawl has the least specifically fucky challenges out of everything from what I can tell, because like Melee and also 3DS and Ultimate have a bunch of have like trophies that are like, oh, beat such and such mode on blank difficulty with blank lives, and like, oh, do it with this and do it this way. This one is a lot more basic. It's like, yeah, you want to beat each mode on each of the difficulties. I don't think any of the trophies care how many lives you have, which is great. I have to beat each mode with each fighter, which like that'll take time, but that's not going to be necessarily difficult since I can put it at like low difficulties. The hard part is going to be the collection aspect of it. I think stickers are going to be the real bitch, and trophies, especially those in the Subspace Emissary, are going to be bad. Boss rush mode doesn't have lives. Yeah, which does mean I'm just gonna have to get good at those. Which like that's not terrible, but yeah, I don't know. It's some of them are gonna be bad. I'm not pretending it's gonna be like a cakewalk, but I was surprised when I was looking over the list again recently, how not insane it seemed. Especially because there are ways to fabricate a bunch of CDs really fast. Stickers are less easy to do, but given all the stuff I'm going to have to do elsewhere, I think stickers I will be able to figure out. I think stickers are going to be the last thing left in the game. And we're just going to have to like wing it and do our best. There may be a couple streams where we've got Jackbox going on while I like sticker hunt. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes, but I feel less nervous about it other than the fact that it's Brawl and I'm not a big fan of it. But otherwise, I think we might be okay. I don't know. I'm more nervous about the 3DS and Wii U Smash games.
Here. He'll play it.
What's that?
Ben loves Brawl. He'll be here.
Ben does love that. Dave was also saying that he fucking loves Brawl as well.
Yeah.
And he was actually offering to come out and join for some streams, so we may see Dave for like a couple
I joke
Brawl
because
streams.
Ben hates Brawl. He likes Melee, Project M.
He likes Project M. That's true.
Eventually, which is basically Melee too. But
yeah, but yeah,
it'd be funny to make him do it.
It'll be a good time. It's Evil Ben's favorite game.
Yes.
3DS and Wii U have absurd lists for completion. It's like everything that there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I'm not even done making the checklist for the Wii U game because there's so much fucking shit to collect. My hope is there's a lot of kill 3 birds with 1 stone style stuff, like in the same way Melee and Brawl kind of do, where it's like, oh, here's a challenge board completion, and it also gets you a trophy, and the trophy also gets you a masterpiece unlock, and that's all 3 things that all go together, and it's like, all right, sick. Yeah. I don't know if the Wii U and 3DS ones do that, because there's like moves that have to be collected, and like there's the trophies and sticker style stuff going on there too, and like it's gonna be a mess. Smash 4 is gonna be bad.
So Brawl's up next for the...
Oh yeah, Footless Ben liked Brawl.
Oh, that's it.
Oh,
okay,
man.
so that's it for Kirby for the time being. Zelda
Tears of the Kingdom is done, just south of 200 hours. It was about 100, I think it was 195 and a half hours.
Unsurprising.
For the entire thing. I was honestly wondering if it was going to hit 200, and I think if I didn't take, at the end of a couple streams, I'd be like, oh, we've only got 6 caves left. We've only got 4 wells left, and I specifically went, let's go clear those out right now. Because it's one less thing to distract myself from the Koroks with.
I'm pretty sure that does that beat longest running? Because for a while,
oh, by far, yeah.
Yeah, because for a while we had the record on Sunday streams, I think, right?
No, you guys got pretty close. I think you guys are top 5 with it, because we have Persona 3. I think was the longest at like 150.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I know that I think you guys got past, so Dragon Quest 11 for a while was the longest at 99 and a half hours.
Yeah.
Persona 3 is at
If
150.
you total up both seasons of Barotrauma, it
Yeah,
probably gets pretty close.
I think that's. I can actually probably pull up
Yeah,
the list.
I'm
I want to say that
curious
was like
now.
130. Was it 130? It might be more than that. I like to look at his list now and then, especially. It's not going to matter so much now because none of our crazy long games are running anymore. I guess Brilliant Diamond is kind of up there, but yeah. So Tears of the Kingdom at number 1 at 195.5. Number 2, Breath of the Wild, 155 hours. Persona 3, 153.5. So Breath of the Wild barely beat that one out. Number 4 is Barotrauma at 136 hours. And number 5 is Pokemon Violet at 135 hours. There's actually less than 42 minutes difference between those two. Number 6 is Divinity at 117 hours. Barotrauma is 136 hours.
Yeah. Twitch Tracker's got it at 135 and Persona at 148. At least for I only think about the. Oh, DOS 2 was 115.
Yeah, that's 117.02.
The first one that beat
Dragon Quest
DQ11.
Yeah, yes. And yeah, Dragon Quest 11 at 99.5. Namco Cross Capcom at 92. Pokemon Platinum at 85. 10 minutes below that is Ring Fit Adventure.
Wow, no shit.
Yeah.
I'm also
there's a bunch of Pokemon and stuff like that in the 80s.
XY was 125 hours, but that is
between the two of them.
Split between 2 runs.
Yes,
so.
Pokemon X was 83, so just barely shorter than Platinum.
Yeah.
Pokemon Y was 67 hours.
Yeah.
Sonic Frontiers 73 hours. Elden Ring 82 hours. RimWorld 82.5 hours.
God, I've streamed 62 hours of a Nintendo Way of the Ninja.
You
and
did.
Only got 3rd place.
You actually, I was gonna say you actually probably streamed more like 67 hours because there's the lost episode, the one where you kind of realize that you have to be level 30 for the siege.
Yeah, that was a kill. Yeah,
that one of all of the episodes to get lost to, I was super upset at that one because it's like this is one episode where like a legitimate data point.
We're kind of rolling.
Yeah.
Like it was really working. And then
I just mean even the discovery of that. It was like, oh, this is an important thing to know.
Yes. And wasting like a good 40 minutes to kill the run, being like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? And then finding out after the fact.
Oh, my God. I started getting into Ring Fit Adventure for the New Game Plus, and I just kind of it's tough to find time for it because you really need like an hour plus even for just a half hour of actually working out, because then there's like setting up, cooling down, shower, and all of that stuff. So it's just like a block of time, but I got to get back into that too. Beeble and I started doing some Ring Fit Adventure stuff so that he's doing speed run stuff with Ring Fit as like a thing to do with exercise and all of that. He's been getting pretty good at it too. He's started getting involved in the Ring Fit Adventure speedrun Discord community, which is a thing that exists. It's like, fuck, that's pretty rad. Let me pull up my thing here so I can see my notes. Did I mention Mega Man? Star Force 3, we're not like intentionally like drawing out the pause. We hit the end and we're kind of taking a breath for a minute. I have a big ass video that I'm working on, and I was hoping that I keep hoping to have it be ready and more stuff kind of gets added to it. It's complicated, and I don't want to overhype it, because it could be nothing, and it could be like also a huge mistake of a video. Or it could be a really big video. I really don't know. There's a lot going on for that, and I don't want to get into details right now. But as soon as that is up, we have our next 2 games, I guess, completely recorded, and then we're moving on to the third one for that.
2 games?
Yes, we have one that we've been hanging on to for an extremely long time. We have a game that we've kind of had fully recorded for like a year and a half. It's a short one. It's like an hour, and then we recently did one that was more like, I think, 4 hours, and that one is complete.
Oh, okay. I don't even know.
Yeah, you were there for it too.
I was like, I'm sure
actually,
I was there.
You might not have been there yet for this. I think that on this recording day, we did them in reverse order, and you were on your way while Dave and I were doing this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is going to be, it'll be
okay.
Interesting to see. I started editing that video itself, and there's a comment where I apologize for taking a month and a half to put the video out. So there's a giant word that just says year in gigantic letters on the screen. So that'll be fun. I'm very curious if there's any like particularly timely references going on there. It was recorded back at the apartment Like it's that old. But yeah, so that should be coming back pretty soon. And I'm kind of figuring out what we're gonna do for the video that comes after that, because I was hoping to have a certain kind of video that would fall there, but I don't think it's going to be feasible. So I'm changing gear. Excuse me, my God. And we should have something interesting for it. I'm excited for it, and I think the clearing out of stuff. Yeah, this Obama guy. I don't know, man. I don't really follow the Illinois Senate race that much, so I don't know. He seems fine, I guess. Is that the one that has been the end of episode preview for? Yes, the one that. Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah, it's been in those Street Fighter Cross Tekken. We've had that one recorded for over a year now. It's a short series. It's like an hour long because the game doesn't really. Fighting games generally don't last that long. I think MVC Infinite is like one of the rare cases, and we haven't even done that one yet, where like the story mode actually stretches out a little bit.
Yeah, is longer.
Because even MVC 3 was like, okay, you did it, you're done. We spent like an hour and change on it, and then we did an hour and change of the world domination mode or whatever the fuck.
Great job. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
So that's where that's at. But yeah, those will be coming. Street Fighter 3. Maybe. Well, we could just bust that out for no reason. Nobody's favorite Street Fighter game.
No, truthfully, if we're gonna do another Street Fighter, we have to go for the most recent.
Oh, 6 is like, 6 is lighting it up online right now.
Because well, it's cool, and there's like a meta world that you run around in.
Yeah.
You can make your own fighter.
They
like
got the create a player from Madden
Yes.
NFL has arrived in Street Fighter.
It's way more compelling to me than like just trying to do ranked matches and stuff.
Yes, Street Fighter 6 actually does appeal to me as someone who doesn't really do fighting games, just because I adore games with create a player stuff. Mechanics, especially when you work it into the story too. I dig that. It's one of the few things I actually like in some ways about Sonic Forces is, the little created avatar.
Yeah.
It's shoehorned in horrendously.
It's your personal OC gets to hang out with Sonic and the gang.
OC Do Not Steal gets to be in the game, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, Star Force 3 should be resuming fairly soon. We don't really have a timetable for that either. I am aware of Legend of the Network and Phantom of the Network. Figuring out what we want to do for those. I might give it a little bit of breathing room, just because if we there was a part of me that was tempted to just jump on them now and come back to Star Force 3 post game, but that doesn't feel right. And those games are going to be there. They won't have quite the same buzz on them, but they will be there when we're done. Yeah. So I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. But we will do those. Those are on our radar. They're also getting little bug fixes here and there from the translation team that worked on it. So by the time we get to it, it should be in as complete of a form as it can be. So that'll be good. 4 minutes. Oh, boy. Let's see. Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways comes back on Monday. We had 3 episodes in the can. I recorded some more with CJ. We're about 2/3 of the way through it now. So we should be wrapping that up sometime in June, I would imagine. I want to keep an eye out. The plan is that we're going to follow that up by going into Resident Evil 5. But there are murmurs that there are going to be an announcement of Resident Evil 9 or Resident Evil 5 remake or Resident Evil 1 remake sometime in the next month. So we may keep our ear to the ground a little bit just in case, because if a 5 remake gets announced, it doesn't make a ton of sense to play the original right before the remake comes out. Or maybe it does. I don't know. I don't know if that's oversaturating it, but with 4 it was an accident. We were just playing 4, and then they announced the VR we were playing the VR version because it was new and weird, and we're like, fine, whatever. Yeah. And then they announced the remake while we were doing that, and it's like, well, shit. Well, okay, I guess we're doing that. But so that's going to be maybe a thing.
What else?
Kingdom Hearts. We were joking about Kingdom Hearts before.
Yeah.
We are approximately, I would say, 60% of the way through Unchained Key, and I think. I've been thinking about it a little bit. Nobody's going to love this. I think we're going to switch the order that we were looking at before for the reason of we did Kingdom Hearts Key. We're doing Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key. I think we're going to follow that with back cover so that we can do a singular review of the entire Key thing. I know that Union Cross continues on and does more stuff, but I think
remake game.
The initial Key story, I think, will make sense to do a singular... Sorry, I guess it'd be movie nights at the round table, not seriously, but doing that as a single block, I think will make sense since it is one story. The back cover stuff, my understanding is that it is events taking place during Kingdom Hearts Key from, I think, the foreteller's perspective. So rather than like discussing it twice, I feel like it makes sense to just kind of discuss the story once. We'll talk about the different stories, and then we'll kind of wrap it all together. I think that's the way that actually makes the most sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Playing the same game sort of 3 times for Kingdom Hearts Key has like left an indelible mark on my soul.
The good news is back cover is just an animatic. We don't have to play through it at all. It's in the same. It's actually in a better format than all of the other stuff we've watched so far because it is just straight up a CG movie.
Yep.
So that'll be pretty good.
Hit play, enjoy movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine.
The other ones have been kind of like, here's a couple cutscenes, and then here's an awkward text wall that you have to click through. It's like, and then they went to Wonderland, and they met the Red Queen.
The epic
She was
battle
mad.
is finished. Now time to talk about it.
Yeah. But so that's going to be like, I don't want to set a date for that yet because it's going to depend when we have time. We probably need another like 2-ish hours to get through Unchained Key. Back cover is a 1-hour animatic, and then our review will probably be like an hour and change. So like we probably have about somewhere between 4 and 5 hours worth of stuff left to do before we can put that out.
Sea salt ice cream for it.
We might. I was originally
Kind
saying
of tradition now.
I was originally gonna say no just because it doesn't show up as an element of Key, but also it's like it did become kind of a tradition.
It is,
so
yeah.
we got to figure out a new way to do it. We got to like sorbetto it or something.
Yeah.
Got to find new fantastic ways of making it happen.
Gonna go to a creamery in Hudson Creamery or something and get.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
I mean, they make really good ice cream there. You ever been to the Speakeasy in the Hudson Creamery?
I have not.
It's so cool.
Ooh,
Check
that out.
If any of you are ever doing a tour of Massachusetts in Hudson, Mass, with a lovely, beautiful downtown, they opened up I think it's just called the Hudson Creamery, and it's I'm sure Carnium knows, being from the area, but it's a really, really good ice cream place, and in the back of the ice cream place is a nondescript door.
Okay.
And I once got told we're going to go out to a bar on, in Hudson Center. And I was like, okay, cool. And they were like, dress up nice. And I was like, all right.
Okay.
So we went into parked and met them on the corner. And they were like, come on. And they walked me into the Hudson Creamery. And I was like, there's
a little overdressed
60
for an ice cream
children
place.
in here, and I'm wearing like slacks and a nice button-up shirt. And then we open a nondescript door, and it's a legit speakeasy in the back of the creamery.
That was it reminds me of the there was a
I almost got crimed to nobody. I wasn't sure if I was going to get jumped by my friends because it was kept a secret from me.
people showed me this awesome cigar bar in Boston that I never knew was there, but like you go in, it's a regular bar, but you go downstairs and it's a cigar and whiskey thing. Tons of nice cigars. They've got tons of nice whiskeys. We've only been there 2-3 times, and it was just kind of like, I had no idea this existed. It also was like a very chill vibe, very low key, not like people getting into yelling shit or anything like there, but yeah, it was pretty nice. Last things before we wrap up, streaming stuff. I know Dave is just about ready to come back. I think Monday this week is probably not going to be a thing, but the Monday after, probably good.
Yeah, he's likely has to do a big computer overhaul because his computer's been limping ahead, but he's got to replace motherboard and processor, and like that basically necessitates a reinstall of Windows and then a downloading of every stream software
whole bunch of shit
and setting everything up. So it'll take a little while, but maybe the week after next.
Tuesday, I'm going to be getting back into Persona 4 Golden. It resumes this week. I'm probably going to like scan through the last stream or two just to get my head on straight as far as like where we were at in terms of the story, but we should be getting back into that. Wednesday, I don't know where you're at with stream stuff.
I've been kind of taking a break and doing a lot of thinking about like what to do next because I love a long-term game, but at the same time, like sometimes
it's tough commitment sometimes too.
Yeah, sometimes it becomes a lot, and if I like somehow can't do a week or two in a row, then it's I've missed a lot of time, and now it's going to keep dragging on. But
nope, absolutely,
I don't know. This beginning of this late spring, early summer has been very busy for me, but we'll see where we go. And in terms of Sunday stuff, we are all taking a break because that's a lot of hours from a lot of people, especially finishing
Summer's
Barrow.
also just a busy time for everybody too. It's tough to do weekend stuff.
Who's ready on Sunday night? It's like, well, I got to get up early on Monday. Oh, sorry, I'm out of state. Like, gets busy.
Not to mention, it's going to get tough as football season starts rolling on to us soon.
Oh my God, yeah! Trying to make me do a stream on a Sunday night when there's football on, that's a struggle. So Yeah, we're looking into next games. We keep peeking at Project Zomboid because
Oh yeah, it had a huge update, didn't it?
there have been. I mean, PZ is one of those labor of love games that it's incredible how much they've added, and like the game looks different than it used to. Like
Oh,
they
no shit.
they completely rewrote their lighting engine. They rewrote their
yeah?
occlusion engine, so like fog
Nice.
actually drifts as an entity and
That's
like
cool.
can gather, and you get reflections off of water, and water now makes splashing noise. It's like
Yeah.
the one thing that I'm waiting for is that they've introduced animals into the game as NPCs
Okay.
with basic behavior, but that's the prototype for actual in-game NPCs.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay.
the first time we did Project Zomboid, we came up with the meta goal that I kind of just instituted for us of like build base, survive a couple of months until the power goes off and we get stable and we can protect ourselves.
Mhm.
And then we do the big heist on the mall and steal all the arcade machines, bring them back to our base. Hooray, we did it. And
Nice.
this next one, the idea is that we will be creating a castle to rescue and protect all of the NPCs on the map. So it'll
Okay.
be like rescue rangers, and we'll start with like a small compound and build it out. And the idea being eventually that NPCs can like have skills and can do crafting for you and can like stand in for you if you're like chop this wood, and they'll be like okay, and spend the next 8 hours doing it, kind of thing in game.
All right.
So once they fully institute all that stuff and it's tested, then we'll go back. But we're not sure when it's going to happen.
All right. Cool. Thursday, as I mentioned before, Nightmare in the Dream Let's Play, starting again with Super Smash Bros. Brawl. As you can see, our next Patreon stream right there is going to be, I think, there may be some adjustments to this. June is going to get a little interesting, but it should be Friday, June 28th, 8 p.m. If that changes, I will make a point of making a change to stuff as early into the month as I can. I want to give people time because we're also going to have a Hangout for that. We're also going to have our community night for that, which anybody who has their own ideas for things should throw that into the Patreon Club channel on the Discord. I'll remind people at the end of the movie night as well. I have an idea for something, but I might have to hold it off for another month. That's a little less busy because I think that weekend in particular is going to be a little busy. And the idea that I have would probably be a Saturday thing instead of a Friday night thing, like a Saturday over the course of the day kind of deal. Other stuff. Oh, I don't know how often it's going to be a thing that gets streamed because Dave is getting back into streaming, but obviously there's a bunch of Mario Party Madness things that are coming up. Next Friday, I'm actually going to be on a podcast with Shell Shock Prime. We're going to be doing, I think the subject is the Sega Genesis, so that should be a fun one. But in addition to Mario Party Madness, I am joining Shad, JV, and Zykrel, and someone, Soen, who I have not done stuff with before. The four of us are doing an Ocarina of Time multi-world co-op randomizer. Starting on the 17th, which is a Monday. If Dave's streaming, I will either just do a local recording or I will stream it on my personal. I have a second Twitch thing just for the sake of having it like in a similar like format as I usually do. I might just do a local recording for it though. The plan is it'll be every Monday. Shad is the one who organized this stuff. I wouldn't have put it on Monday if it was my project, but they've been looking for a fourth for like I guess a year. So it came up a conversation. I was like, oh, I fucking love Zelda randomizers. Yeah, I'd be down. So that's gonna be interesting. So it's a multi-world co-op randomizer, which means if someone finds an item, it may not even apply to their game. Like I could find an item and it's something that it belongs to Shad. It's like, oh, here's Shad's fairy boomerang, and oh, he found Zykrel's gigaton hammer or something, or megaton hammer.
My bomb shoes.
Yeah, so that should be kind of interesting. There's some unique Mario Party Madness formats coming up over the summer as well. I could swear there was one more thing that I was I was gonna put something together for this, but I didn't have time, and I want to at least give you guys the heads up roughly. Sonic Weekathon is gonna be coming back this June. The timing of it is gonna be a little bit delicate. Half the reason I don't have something ready for it is there's a bunch of stuff happening in the immediate vicinity of the week that I normally do that, which is the week of June 23rd. including both the Ocarina randomizer and that Monday there is specifically something going on, and I am blanking right now on what it is. But odds are I will be doing a bunch of streams over the course of that and the following week and splitting it up as best I can. I can tell you that there are going to be 6 games in total on the docket for this year, and I'm very excited for them. I think they'll be fun. They might be a little bit, might be a little bit tedious, might be a little bit rough, but I think it'll be a good time. So we lasted a lot longer than we were supposed to for this. So I want to bounce off here quickly. We'll probably be aiming for we'll probably be aiming for like a 9:40ish start, just so we have enough time to get stuff together. Just to let people know, we're gonna try some. I'll put a thing in the Discord for this also. We're going to try this time, rather than splitting the community chat off to its own channel. Everybody has access to the Chill With Us channel, or everybody meaning the Brother Band patrons all have access to the Chill With Us channel. You're not going to be able to speak, but you will be able to chat in the text chat. And I think that will make things nice and simple, so you don't have to be bouncing between 2 rooms or anything like that. I think that'll make things nice and easy. But we're going to be getting that set up over the next about 15 minutes, and we should be getting started 9:40, 9:45. We're going to be starting with the gamers, and then we're going to be doing DOA Dead or Alive after that. It seemed I originally had them in the other order, and I was like, feels weird to have like a 40 some odd minute thing to close out the night.
With the feature length movie.
Yeah, I think so, because that way, by the time we hit like 10:45, we're basically into like the big meaty finale of the whole thing. So I think that'll be pretty good. But yeah, so we're gonna sign off from here. We're gonna get that started. Bear with us. Hopefully, we'll be able to get it set up pretty quick. We're more or less good to go, but I just want to run some tech stuff. I want to make sure Pete might be joining us on the Discord side, so I want to make sure the tech is good for that as well. And we should be getting started pretty shortly. So we'll see you over there, and have a good one. Bye.